How's it going, everyone? Boylon here, and we're going to be talking about the Valuable Lessons Milestone today. And I was waiting for the event to go live to actually get to check out the points required and what the milestones look like and such. So in the first part of this video, we're going to be going over the milestones, looking at the rewards, and how to get points, as well as taking a quick peek at the characters available to use for this event. The second part of the video is going to be going over my spreadsheets to look at the numbers required in order to clear this milestone, which I want to tell people it is a daily milestone, but it is over the course of 11 days. So it's likely going to be resetting every day at the typical store reset time when events go live. So make sure you're aware of that when scoring for this milestone. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So we're going to be starting off here in the events tab here. So you will see the Valuable Lessons event here, and it is available for 11 days. And when we click on this here, it'll bring us to the milestones section, and you'll notice here that it's actually a 24-hour milestone. So I did mention that in the beginning there. So make sure that when you're doing this, that you're aware that there is a 24-hour time clock on that. So, and when we click on it, and there is a lot of rewards here. A lot of it is gear credits. There's a little bit of power cores, gold orb fragments, and a fair bit of purple and orange gear as we go through down the list. Now, once we get over to my spreadsheets, I have actually calculated the whole thing. I'm not gonna go over it here quite yet, but there is some mini uniques available in here as well. So if you haven't completed the Doom War campaign, where some of these are farmable now, there are other ones in here that aren't farmable. You also get a total of I think 37 superior basic catalysts, which is nice. For some reason my list always keeps resetting occasionally here, but as you scroll down through it, there's mini uniques, other orange catalyst parts as well, and it's not too bad considering it's a daily farm. Over 11 days, this is a fair bit of extra gear since they're giving it for free. Now, how do we score for this milestone? So it is here. So it has to do with blitz, raids, and arena. So there's the 3 game modes. So instead of war, if you guys remember from the X-Force event, which was a while back, but they had basically the same thing, just instead of raids it was war. It was war. But now we get to do some raids, so no war is involved, just blitz, raid, and arena. Now, what's interesting, it depends on how many characters that you're using that have the mentorship trait, and we'll be going over that in a minute here. And you get a lot of points actually from arena, so that's actually where the most amount of points is going to come from. The problem is, of course, there's only a handful of good characters that are probably even valid for arena, and if you're as late game as me, then you're not going to be using any of the arena characters, any of the mentor characters in your arena. But if you're a person who doesn't really normally do 5 attacks in their arena, then you could do throwaway attacks, and I'll show you that in my spreadsheet where I sort of I've kind of accounted for some of this. But again, there's going to be some blitz points here, so you get 1 point for winning in a blitz, and then 1 point for a mentorship character. So if you had a team of 5 with mentors, that would be 6 points for a blitz match, and then it is actually win or lose for raid and arena, which is quite nice. So it doesn't really matter, you can do throwaway attacks or whatever. In Ultimate 7, obviously you have all your characters, Ultimates in general, you have all of your characters available to you. In terms of the Greek raid, which now we're into Gamma, you might not be able to use all the mentor characters, but there might be a few that you might be able to use in those lanes. And then, so you get about 4 points for a raid, and then if you were to use a full team, like such as Ultimus, then you would get 15, which is 3 times 5 plus 4, and you get 19 points just for that. And the total milestone is about 200 points, so at the very bottom, you need 200 points daily to get that. It's actually fairly reasonable to get to, but as we go into the spreadsheets, we'll see where a lot of that's going to come from. So we're going to jump over to the roster screen where we're going to take a look at some of the characters for that. And so when you filter by the mentorship trait in the roster page, you do get a total of 40 characters. Now, I don't actually have the 40th character, which is Emma Frost, so for late game players or mid game players, you're probably just on the verge of unlocking Emma Frost probably within the next week or so, so you might not actually get to use her very much. And if you scroll through the different characters that are available for this event, there's quite a few good characters here, which you can probably use in raids. So Black Bolt, Carnage, those are 2 really good characters for Thanos as well. Thanos, Black Bolt, Carnage, those are very, very great characters for the Ultimus raids, if you guys caught my Ultimus 7 video earlier. And there's just a handful of other great characters. Shuri, which is a good raiding character, Mr. Sinister, Venom, Groot and Rocket are in there if you're sort of still in Ultimate 6, Nick Fury, so in terms of being able to use some of these characters in raids, and then there's Yo-Yo, of course, it shouldn't be overly that difficult. Now, where it could be a bit of a problem, of course, is arena, like I said, so depending on where you're at, there are characters like Black Bolt and Sinister, Magneto, you know, depending on where your arena shard is at, but you may or may not be able to get away with too many of these to be used in arena. But overall, they're not really, there's only basically half synergies. There's a lot of these characters have two characters in a synergy, like Rocket and Groot, Black Bolt and Yo-Yo, which was down there, Venom and Carnage. You know, there's a lot of twosome pairs, Nick Fury and Coulson. So I'm not going to go through all of them here, but there is a decent list of characters. So in terms of blitzing, you know, I'm not going to go and tell everyone, you know, what blitz teams you should make, what raid teams you should make, and things like that, because it's really going to depend on your roster and what you have unlocked. So, I mean, you know, if you guys need some personalized help, feel free to contact me about that, and I can help you guys out. But I'm not going to do like a one set team for everyone, because everyone's roster is likely going to be different, and I'm not going to tell them what to do. But in terms of blitzing, when you're doing your blitz rotations, really, I just recommend doing, you know, putting 5 mentorship characters together, throw them in blitz, throw them on auto, and tier 1 through 4 or 5, you know, you should have no problems beating any of the teams that way. Even if you just threw random characters together, to be honest, it probably won't be that difficult. You know, the characters are decent enough that, especially at low blitz tiers, you should be able to clear that. And, you know, interestingly, while you're going to get a lot of points from doing blitz rotations, that's not actually the primary way to do it. So we're going to jump over into the spreadsheets, where I'm going to show you guys where a lot of the points are probably going to be coming from. Okay, so here we are over onto my spreadsheets here. Now, a lot of these boxes and stuff like that aren't going to be, you're not going to need to look at these. I kind of overcompensated a little bit, or overestimated what would the requirements for this event would be. I kind of assumed that it was going to be like one 10-day milestone or something like that. I didn't know that they were going to go with a single day 24-hour milestone. So I set up a lot of these things in advance just to assume that, you know, that's how it was going to be, like very similar to the X-Force event, but I was really wrong. And so we're going to go through this together. Some of this might look a little bit confusing, but hopefully I can clarify it a little bit. So I just want to start off by saying, again, that it's an 11-day event, but they're 24-hour, one-day milestones. So keep in mind in terms of the points, and you need a total of 200 points daily. There's a total of 40 mentor characters as well, although not everyone might have Emma Frost unlocked, so like I don't have them, so technically I only have 39 characters. But so I set these sort of blitz tables up, and depending on where you are in your roster. So this is this column here is going to be a 4 full team. So this is like 20 characters here. 6 full teams is 30 characters, and 8 full teams is about 40 in terms of the points. So when you win a blitz match, you get 1 point. When you win a blitz with mentorship, assuming it's a full team of 5, you're getting 5. And so I said 1 rotation here with 4 full teams, you're going to get 24 points. That's this, you know, times 4. And then, of course, down to the rotations, you're going to get 2 rotations of that, which would actually be about 8 blitz matches here, would be 48 points, and then 4 rotations of that is 96. Now, it gets a bit rough going down into the 6 and 8 rotations, because who wants to do that? But keep in mind, it's not a full roster blitz rotation. I wouldn't recommend blitzing with characters that don't have the mentorship tag, unless you really need the points for Colossus, you know, and you're trying to push hard for Colossus, which is the blitz character right now. But otherwise, if you're taking a casual approach to blitz, I would just use the mentorship characters to save yourself some time. Now, in the 6th column here, you can see that you get 36 per rotation, and then 72 and 144. So kind of 4 rotations is kind of the sweet spot. Now, that sounds like a lot, but again, you're not actually doing that many teams. So for the 4 full teams, that's just 4 teams per rotation, 6 teams per rotation, and then 8 teams per rotation if you have most of them unlocked. Now, the points are going to vary a little bit in the 8 full teams because, you know, I only have 39 characters and not 40 characters, but in theory, for someone like me, you know, I could get away with just doing 4 blitz rotations with 39 characters, and I get pretty close to finishing. Now, keep in mind, you do get points for raids and arena, which I do have here as well, so you don't actually need to do that many. You could probably get away with the 2 rotations daily, and you'd be fine, because if you include some of these, assuming that you guys do both of your raids, both the Greek raids and the Ultimus raids, if you can fit in any of these mentorship characters into your raids, then that would be really good. So here we have 4 points here for a regular raid battle, and then if you were to include a mentorship character, you get 3. Now, let's say if you're an Ultimus, you know, whatever, Ultimus 5, 6, 7, and you happen to have a full mentorship team, then you get 15 points, and then plus the 4 for the raid battle, that would be 19 points per raid battle. Now, I put this assuming 10. This is points per day from raids, assuming 10 raid attacks. For me, that's 5 from the Greek raid and 5 from Ultimus. Now, I know it's very unlikely that you're probably going to be able to fill a full team of mentorship characters, especially on the Greek raid. But if you do manage to be able to do that, then you would get 190 points in one day, which is basically clearing the whole milestone. So that's a lot of points. Now, realistically, like I said, because of the Greek race, you're probably not going to get that. Maybe I would say closer to like 130, 140, something like that is more realistic. But if you double that up with sort of 2 rotations of Blitz, bam, you know, you're at 200 points. So I didn't actually do, I had some stuff down here in terms of what, honestly, I would just ignore all this, because a lot of this was taken from my X-Force event, and the daily milestone was a lot easier to accomplish in my opinion than I expected it to be. Given the sort of history of these kind of events, I assumed it was going to be a lot harder. Now, if you do want to dip into the arena, you do get 6 points for just a single match in arena, win or lose. You do get 5 per mentor character. Now, if you were to do a full mentor match, let's say like a throwaway arena match, then you would get a total of 31 points. So that's 5 times 5. If you were to have 5 mentor characters, plus 6 from this is 31. Now, if you were to do that 5 times, well, I wouldn't recommend that, because that's probably going to cause some loss in your arena rank. You would get 155 points. And that's basically everything that you would need almost to clear the event daily. Now, if you were to combine that, of course, with these numbers from the raids, you know, you can see it's very easy to get to 200. You can do a little bit of everything, and then you'll eventually get there. You could do, that's why I didn't create scenarios this time around for everyone, because every case is going to be a little bit different. So, you know, you could take, let's say, 20 mentor characters here, 2 rotations, that's like 48 points. Plus, like, let's say you even do half of your normal raids, then that would be almost 100 points there, and that's 150 if you did like 1 or 2 arena matches, 1 or 2 throwaway arena matches with mentor characters, and then boom, that's 200. So, you know, these numbers here are just as a guideline. I don't want to tell people how they should accumulate their points, because like I said, what mentor characters you use in your raids, how many throwaway arena ranks matches you do, it's going to be entirely up to you. But I just wanted to put these numbers out there just to show you that it's actually a lot easier of an event than I expected it to be, and these are the sort of numbers that you can produce through doing certain rotations. Now, I would say in terms of the median level for blitzing anyways, most people should have about 30 characters unlocked, but if you're a pretty new character, you could be somewhere in this column here, the 4 full teams, about 20 mentor characters, or maybe even less than that possibly. But like I said, you can compensate with the raids in the arena, and honestly, I think this should be a pretty easy event to clear. Now, like I said, if anyone needs any more personalized help, feel free to get at me at Discord or anything like that, and I can help you guys through this as well. Now, so total points needed 200, which is down here. Again, ignore all this stuff, because I kind of set this up previously, like the X-Force event, assuming it was going to be over 11 days rather than, or like over the whole event rather than just a single day. Now, in terms of the total rewards, they're actually not too bad. So you get one full gear orb. So that's like the ones in the Blitz shop there, where you can get like purple gear from that, and then you get half a gold orb. 20 power cores, 15 advanced basic catalysts, 7 purple catalysts of all stats, thus the damage, focus, and all that stuff. 37 superior basic catalysts, 16 orange catalysts, again, which is similar to all the stats, damage, health, and so on. And then 221 of all mini uniques. So that's I think it's the one that the one is the one you need less of, and then 2 is like the molecular scans and the marrow extracts and things like that. So overall, that's actually pretty decent. So times 11, you know, that's 22, and 11, you know, mini uniques. So that's an extra 50 something mini uniques across the board. And then superior basic catalyst, that's just quick math, you know, that's probably somewhere close to 350 superior basic catalysts, and, you know, 165 advanced basic catalysts, and whatever core, 220 power cores. So it's a fair bit of extra resources that we're getting, you know, through the course of this event, that largely, you know, you're going to collect these points just from doing your daily activity anyways. So I would recommend, where possible, to use the mentorship characters, of course, across raids, and definitely in Blitz. Do a couple of rotations, you know, 2 or 3 a day will definitely get you through it. And keep in mind, like I said, don't do a full rotation. It doesn't have to be a normal Blitz rotation. It just has to be with mentorship characters. I wouldn't, because you only get 1 point through a regular Blitz match, I would only use the mentorships for this event. Now, like I said, if you need to push harder for certain characters, then you can do so, but I wouldn't really recommend that because of the time involved for that. So I hope some of this helped, and you know, gives you a little bit of an idea of what you need to do and how much you need to do in order to get it. But honestly, I think if you're just doing your daily activity, you're probably going to clear it anyways. So let's outro now. And so, as you can see, it's actually a fairly generous event in my opinion, and not overly taxing for something you'd probably be doing daily anyways. Just keep in mind that if you do want to clear the event in its entirety, then try as much as you can to include mentorship characters in raids especially. And if you have some extra arena attacks you're not doing, then just do some throwaway matches with the full mentor team and you'll rack up points pretty quickly. Personally for me, the orange gear is welcome, and I'm really close to finishing off Venom to tier 14, so this extra bit of daily gear will help push me there for my City Dark Dimension 3 run. I'm glad that to some degree they listened to the community, that they didn't want to do a lot of blitzing to get through these kind of events. There has been a bit of a bad track record for requiring blitz to get through the last handful of events over the last few months, but this one doesn't seem that bad, which is great. But anyways, that's all from me in this quick video, and I hope that going over this helped you guys get an idea of how you're going to earn your points for this event and start collecting some of this loot. Thanks everyone for watching, and if this was informative for you, then please smash that like button down below, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And of course, until next time, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Voilon signing out.